Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we have an exciting topic to dive into.
Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to talk about a key to consistent trading that honestly most people just completely ignore. And here's the kicker, it has nothing to do with what you do when the market's open, it's all about what you do the moment it closes. Let's just dive right in with this quote because it really cuts to the heart of a huge flaw in how most people trade. It kind of calls out that typical routine and shines a big spotlight on the one habit that really separates the profitable traders from everyone else. So what is this habit? Well, it all starts by avoiding what I call the 4 p.m. mistake. You know what I'm talking about. The closing bell rings, and for so many traders, that's it. It's a signal to shut everything down. They slam their laptops shut, and any kind of analysis for the day is just over. This is, hands down, one of the most destructive habits you can possibly have in trading. And that mistake leads to this, a really costly condition I call amnesia trading. You make a mistake, you lose some money, and your gut instinct is just to push it away. You just want to forget about it and hope for a better day tomorrow. But here's the thing, hope is not a strategy. And that cycle is exactly what keeps so many traders stuck, never really improving. This slide really shows you the fork in the road. On one path, you have amateurs. By just forgetting their mistakes, they're not actually gaining experience. They're just reinforcing bad habits, setting themselves up to repeat the same failures over and over again. But the pros, they take the other path. They analyze their mistakes, and that is how they build a solid, reliable playbook and gain real, valuable market experience. And this point is so powerful. Every single loss you take is tuition. It's the price you're paying for a lesson straight from the market. But if you don't review that trade, it's like you paid for the class but just didn't show up. You are literally throwing money away on lessons you're refusing to learn. Okay, so let's shift gears and talk about the solution. This is all about building a habit that can genuinely change your career. Instead of closing the books at 4 p.m., we need to open them up for what I like to call the pro's autopsy. This is the secret, right here. Professionals get it. They understand that their most valuable money-making work actually begins the moment the market closes. This is where they find their edge. This is where they refine their strategy, and this is how they make sure they don't repeat those same costly mistakes. And the good news is, this isn't some super complicated hours-long process. Not at all. It's actually a really simple but incredibly powerful framework. A post-market autopsy that really just boils down to asking yourself 3 critical questions after every single trade, win or lose. So let's break down these 3 questions. First, why did I enter? This gets right to the core of your thinking before you put any money on the line. Second, why did I exit? This peels back the layers on your psychology and your discipline while the trade was actually live. And third, how was my execution? This is where you grade your process, not the P&L. Honestly, the level of honesty you bring to these questions will directly impact how fast you grow as a trader. Okay, first up, your entry. You have to be brutally honest with yourself here. What was the real reason you clicked that buy or sell button? So, did you take the trade because it met every single one of your rules? A valid setup from your playbook that you know inside and out? Or was it because you saw a big green candle ripping higher and you felt that gut punch of FOMO, that fear of missing out? See, one is a process. The other is just a pure emotional reaction. All right, next up is the exit. And in a lot of ways, your exit actually reveals way more about your discipline and your psychology than your entry ever could. So, did you close out the position because your plan told you to? You hit your profit target or you hit your stop loss, just like you're supposed to. Or did you panic? Did you see a little pullback, get scared, and just bail on a trade that might have been a huge winner if you just stuck to your own rules? And finally, we get to what might be the most important mindset shift of all. You have to stop grading yourself based on whether you made or lost money. Instead, you've got to grade your execution. This whole concept, execution over outcome, it's really the cornerstone of a professional's mindset. It's about detaching your ego, your self-worth, from the random ups and downs of the market and focusing only on the one thing you can actually control, your actions. And this table just lays it out perfectly. Look, you can lose $100 on a trade, but if you followed your plan to a T, that's an A+ execution, that's a win in my book. On the flip side, you could make $200 on a trade where you just got lucky after breaking all your rules. That's an F. That's a terrible trade. because it reinforces the very habits that will eventually blow up your account. The best analogy is right here. Think about it. No pro athlete would ever play a huge game and then just not review the tape. That's insane, right? Well, as a trader, your charts and your journal, that's your game tape. Reviewing it isn't optional. It is the job. So let's make this super practical. Your new game tape isn't about just glancing at charts. It's about a dedicated journal where you sit down and you explicitly answer these 3 questions for every single trade. This is what turns your post-market routine from just a passive activity into the active process of building a real, sustainable edge in the market. So, at the end of the day, it's a choice. It's your choice. You can keep suffering from amnesia trading, keep paying for those expensive lessons you immediately forget, or you can start today. With your very next trade, you can commit to this simple 3-question autopsy that turns every single trade, win or lose, into priceless experience. The ball's in your court.
இந்த வீடியோ உங்களுக்கு பிடிச்சிருந்ததுன்னா லைக் பண்ணுங்க, ஷேர் பண்ணுங்க, சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணுங்க. Thank you for watching.